Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Paul. The channel is Talking Music, where every song has a story. And indeed it does. We like to get behind the music, behind the particular song we feature, with stories, sometimes secrets, and some facts and information about the song. And the song we're featuring today is this little beauty from The Police, Every Breath You Take. The song was on their Synchronicity album, which was their best-selling album. Indeed, Every Breath You Take was their best-selling single too, which I always find interesting because your first thought is, why buy the single if you already have the album? Anyway, suffice to say, the boys did well with this one. And at the time, 1983, even though relations in the band were strained, Gordon Sumner, better known as Sting, Andy Summers and Stuart Copeland were arguably the biggest band in the world. There had always been a creative tension which drove their success, but their relationship was vividly described by Andy Summers, who said they were like three little children playing around dynamite. They broke, though, as a band in 1978 when punk was in full flow, and they applied their creativity with reggae grooves and intricate arrangements. And looking back on their earlier stuff on Roxanne, Message in a Bottle, Walking on the Moon, you get the natural, fully rounded progression to Every Breath You Take. I think even if you landed from another world, it wouldn't take you long to work out that those songs must have come first in the development of The Police before Every Breath You Take. The song was written by Sting in 1982 after the breakup of his marriage to the actress Frances Tomalty. The song isn't about her. If it was, maybe the real Police would have been involved. Not long after, as if to get away from it all, he went to the Caribbean to work on writing songs for the next album, and started writing Every Breath You Take on the very writing desk of Ian Fleming, the James Bond creator, in the GoldenEye estate in Jamaica. Sting said he woke up in the middle of the night with the name of the title of the song going round his head. He got up, sat down at the piano, and he'd written nearly all of it within 30 minutes. He said the tune was generic and the lyrics quite simple, but interesting. Sting had written the song from the point of view of a possessive lover. People hearing the song heard it from a romantic point of view and regarded it as a love song. And for a while it even became a favourite wedding song, connotations far removed from the writer's original intention. Sting had always worried about keeping up the standard of his writing.
Sting, we're here in Montserrat and you're doing your fourth album. Do you find it, when you're coming in the studio, increasingly difficult to match what you've done before? Because you've had such big hits, you've got to get one better than that.
I think the recording process gets easier as we get more and more experienced at doing it. You know, we come in and we have a sort of formula, we just get down to it. Whereas in the first place, we were kind of experimenting with roles and what exactly to do. What I do find increasingly hard is writing material. Mm-hmm. And topping your last best song is a nightmare. Mm. When I wrote Roxanne, I thought, I like that, it's really good. Will I ever write one better? And then I wrote Message in a Bottle, which I thought was better than Roxanne. And you go on, you do actually better yourself, but it becomes harder and harder.
Sting had been exerting more and more control over the band, driving it in a direction he wanted it to go, and was taking less input from his bandmates. This caused more creative tension. Sting presented Every Breath You Take to Andy and Stuart on a demo using a Hammond organ. After discussion, it was agreed the Police were a guitar band. Recording took place with each member in a separate room. Now you have to ask the question, was that to avoid arguments? Here's Stuart Copeland.
No, it had that effect though. I would be up in the dining room. It was because of the sound. There was this big wooden room with a great sound. So the drums are up there. The other two guys are, Andy is in the big recording room by himself with all his amps and pedals. Sting's in the control room. So I'm up there looking at a screen of two grumpy guys. And because when you do the drums, everybody's waiting for you to get your part because they can't start building the album until they got the drum track. And so they're all, come on, Copeland, get it together. And I can see I'm up there and I do a take and I can see the screen. I can't hear them, but I can see them. And I'm getting grumpy myself.
Andy Summers went to work on the guitar part. In fact, Andy made a significant contribution to Every Breath You Take. It's his guitar that creates the whole musical ambience of the song. And he came up with it in one take because, as he said, Sting's demo left a lot of space for him to do what he did. He also said there was no way he was going to just strum through chords on a song like that. It was the middle late of the song that was finished last, with Sting sitting at the piano in the studio, hitting the same key until the missing section came to him. The band knew that this song was going to be a big hit, as much as they knew that the music they were working on for Synchronicity would be their last. Sting has said how disconcerting it is that people think it's a simple love song. He calls it a nasty little tune about obsession and stalking. Every move you make, I'll be watching you. In the video, Sting sings the song with anger on his face. This is to emphasise what the song is really all about. There was anger behind the music too. Sting and Stewart were arguing so much during the recording sessions that the group's manager Miles Copeland called a meeting to reconcile the band members and get them to agree to continue. Sting at one point wanted to use a drum machine. Sting has talked about how he sees so many others, professional, successful singers, misinterpret the song. It's not about love. The video featured at one point a window cleaner cleaning a window, but looking down on the band playing, a creative depiction of Sting's lyrics. Someone watching who shouldn't be. Sting performs his part on an upright bass, rather than a bass guitar, and according to Jeff Ayeroff, the co-founder of A&M Records, the video cost $75,000, and the album sold 5 million plus, so the return was phenomenal. The video picked up some good awards too, with Rolling Stone and VH1 naming it high in their top 100 videos of all time, and indeed MTV, still in its early infant days in 1983, picked up on the video and played it on high rotation, adding to the eventual success of the song. And Every Breath You Take was a big commercial success, #1 in South Africa, Israel, Ireland and Canada, top 5 in most charts. In the two big pop markets, the UK and the US, it also topped the chart. In the UK, it went to #1 on June the 4th, 1983. And here you can see the song's first week at #1 in the UK. And it was to stay there for 4 weeks at #1. Ended up being the 14th bestseller of the year in the UK. Karma Chameleon from Culture Club was the year's bestseller in the UK, selling over 1 million records. Synchronicity, the album, was the 8th best-selling album in the UK this year. And onto the US chart, and it went to #1 July the 9th, 1983. Stayed there for 8 weeks, and indeed it spent 16 weeks in the US top 20, which is a bit of a long runner. It sold 1 million, it turned gold, 1.5 million in fact in the USA, and became the year's bestseller. And in fact, let's have a look at those bestsellers of the year in the US. There you can see The Police at #1, beating Michael Jackson into second place, Billie Jean. And worldwide sales for the song nearly 3 million. And we must make mention of Puff Daddy here, who sampled Every Breath You Take in I'll Be Missing You in the 1990s, and commercially took the song on to the next level. It was even more successful commercially with Puff Daddy and Faith Evans. Sting discussed Every Breath You Take in Lyrics by Sting. He said the song has the standard structure of a pop ballad, but there is no harmonic development after the middle 8, no emotional change, and no change in the point of view of the protagonist, the singer. He, the singer, is trapped in a circular obsession. Sting said he wasn't aware of this at the time, and when he did become aware, he wrote the antidote, "If you love somebody, set them free," which was a hit for Sting as a solo artist 2 years later. In 2019, Sting accepted an award from the BMI, who represent songwriters in protecting public performances of their music, for Every Breath You Take, being one of the most played songs on radio. he accepted the award with humility.
It's 1964. I'm 13 years old. I'll give you some time to do the math. Okay. I'm 67 now, but I'm 13 years old, and I live in a little seaport town on the northeast coast of England. And there's not much to look forward to in the way of work apart from a life working in the shipyards. I don't want that. I'm already a musician, a budding songwriter, and totally obsessed with music. And later in that year, I will hear a song on the radio that to this day, I think is one of the greatest songs, greatest records ever made. The song was called You've Lost That Loving Feeling by the Righteous Brothers. Now, as you know, it's a song of extraordinary passion and pathos. An historic Phil Spector production and written by Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil. The drama of Bill Medley's bass baritone matched by the passionate tenor of Bobby Hatfield. The epic coda with their dueling voices, and then the final triumphant chorus of Bring Back That Loving Feeling. Well, it blew my 13-year-old mind. I'm telling you this because the idea of a song of mine somehow superseding that one, at least in terms of performance and airplay, is simply not credible. And yet, here I stand.
It's a great song, and I think an even better artist. Sting, The Police, and Every Breath You Take. And that's it for another one. Do subscribe to Talking Music, where every song has a story. We get behind the music with information and stories about the song itself. So please click that subscribe button for many more videos on other songs that we feature. So until the next one, I do wish you well. Till then, bye-bye.